we're getting ready to call this December 29th special call meeting to order. We're going to begin this meeting with our public comments. We have two individuals who have signed up for public comments. First individual is Mr. Jack Foster. Mr. Foster wants to speak on the agenda item at hand tonight.
I have a handout I want to do this before my time started. Good evening, everybody. My only purpose for being here today, I've heard rumors and rumblings concerning Mr. Cunningham's project and the source of funding, that it may have been in jeopardy. And I came down to address that because I know that initially there was an 8-0 vote to fund it. Now we're talking about taking out a different pot of money from what I'm being told. If that is not correct, I stand corrected. But taking it a step further than that, is that I'm being told that at the last Ways and Means Committee meeting that the geek from Go Forward, Ryan Watley, came in and basically gave marching orders. That's what needs to happen. I'm sick and tired of Go Forward and how they're dictating to this city how to do city business, to be perfectly honest. The handout that I just gave you concerns Article 12, Section 5 of the Arkansas Constitution. You are appropriating money for Go Forward project. I think that is illegal. I really do. I'm prepared to challenge that in court if I have to. If this council don't see fit to look into it, I will. The bottom line is I get sick and tired of riding around town at a demolition project for a house or something, and they got a sign out there saying your tax dollars at work. And there's also a big Go Forward logo on that same sign. Now, I don't think Go Forward is putting one penny into that. I'm trying to figure out why in the devil and Tom Walker would their name be on a city project. That's an urban renewal project. That's not a Go Forward project. So I don't understand that at all. I seriously believe that what needs to happen is, and this is only my opinion, is that the city of Pine Bluff needs to contact either the Attorney General's office or the Municipal League and actually get an opinion about the way they're doing business with Go Forward. I'll await that and I'll give you an opportunity to do that, but if it's not forthcoming, then I think I'll just have to file something in circuit court because I think it's wrong. The bottom line is that, and I want to make this a formal FOI request to you, Mayor, and that is, I am requesting a copy of all council checks from Go Forward where they have spent money on city projects. Since it's a public-private partnership, you think that that information would be available. I'm not, I've had problems with Go Forward from day one. There's some of you on this body think that Go Forward is an arm of you. That's a lie. They're not. You know, I don't know why you continue to do what you're doing with them. I know they're trying to push to get the sales tax reinstated when it ends. I'm not going to support that. I'll support a tax, but this time we will earmark on the ballot how that money is to be spent. Not have carte blanche to do what you want to do with it down here, and whatever Ryan Watley and Go Forward walk in the door and say, you do that. Something is wrong with that picture. And I just want to put you on notice today that if you don't do something about Go Forward and the way you do business with them, I'm prepared to take this to court. And it ain't nothing personal, just strictly business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Our next speaker is Jihad Muhammad, speaking on the same topic, the budget.
I'm very honored to have the opportunity to address you all. My sentiments are very much what Mr. Foster expressed at the last minute. You all have the responsibility of giving oversight to every dime that's spent of the people's money. Not some of it, every dime. Those who bring great ideals that can uplift the city, they should be given good consideration, if I'm making sense. But oversight, okay? One of the challenges we have with politicians is so many of you all come into office with the heart to serve and to do the right thing. And you become overwhelmed with the corruption that's in the place that you already come to, and a lot of times we bite into it. Sometimes it's difficult to make a decision that's right when you know somebody that wants you to go another way has something that you want. I was shocked to hear from 2-3 council members that we don't even know when certain meetings are going to take place, that Mr. Watley knows before us. And these are the people that are elected to serve the people. So you all got to clean it up. You got to clean it up. You sitting down talking to each one of you all in that seat. You have the responsibility to clean it up. Not to cower it out. And if that's what's going on, you know it's wrong, clean it up. That's all I'm saying. We all make mistakes in leadership. It would be nice if all of us can work together. There needs to be oversight on everything. If there's rumors about funding being missing or stuff, or people cutting checks, don't have the authority to cut checks, it needs to be looked into, and then it needs to be addressed immediately. Why is it all pushed up under the rug? Look into it. You have the means to look into it. Look into it and address it. That's what leadership is about. It's about making the hard decisions. That's what it's about. I'm here to support each one of you all in moving the city forward. And if we have some challenges, let's address it before it get out in the public, because a lot of people, the little people ain't coming to these meetings until we tell them to get off their butt and come down here. They're not down here today, because I'm hoping that we can see some change before 200-300 people come in here, because we know how to make that happen. We know how, when you get ready to run your election, we know how to shut you down. We don't want to do that. It's unnecessary. Let's clean it up. Let's work together. Let's look for opportunities. That's some opportunities I brought to some of you all about money. They came here. You didn't get the money because you drug your feet. So I'm saying, let's do better. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. That's the end of our public speakers. Next, we'll go into our opening of our meeting. Our meeting is now called to order. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but I did call in and speak to William Johnson and ask to be on the agenda.
What day did you call?
It's been within the last 3 days. I spoke to him specifically.
Well, William has been out. I don't know what happened, but if you say you spoke to him, I'm going to assume you did. He's off right now, and he hasn't been here for, what, 3 days. So I don't know how you talked to him, but these are the individuals who signed up on the roster that I have.
No,
So we will give you, I'm not going to,
yes, ma'am.
I'm going to trust that you're telling us what you did. And so, in light of the fact that William is still out on vacation at this point, I'll give you your 3 minutes. Now, this is the only amendment as it relates to the budget.
It is.
All right. Now, let me say this before Mr. Cunningham starts. Is there anyone else? Because I hope this is the end. You're saying you called as well?
No, ma'am. I'm standing behind my husband.
Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Cunningham, 3 minutes.
It is my understanding that that the Ways and Means Committee just recently decided or voted to put the authority of this project with Go Forward. In that, the money, the $6 million in the line item for surplus would be what would fund the project. So the 2 million then would come out of that rather than just a single line item. That singular move transfers authority. It means that the money that is sitting in the go forward surplus pot comes, it rules over whatever that money goes to. And in this case, it is our project. Now I have 4 points I want to make quickly, and if I go over 3 minutes, I would ask you to just endure me in as much as we have worked so hard to get to this point. Many of you may not be aware because you are here in these chambers and often in these sanitized circumstances where you don't know the details and the sausage making that it takes to get certain things to this point. In this case, I would suggest to you that Go Forward has a deep aversion to this project and has shown that over the past 4 years in my conversation and interaction with the executive director. That is problematic because this is the entity that would then be over this. What do I mean? 4 years ago, I came to this city council and told you that there was a plan afoot to put money into a music plaza that would be next to the train tracks on 4th Street. I asked Mr. Ryan Watley, Dr. Watley, over and over, do not do that. A cultural district should be built out in the areas but beyond 4th Street. Mr. Watley disagreed and told me that Mr. May did not want that. I tried to join the boat to get on the ride with them so that they could at least have an alternative view. So they brought an architect in, and in a phone conference with 5 people, I went there to propose that we have a district that we would build out on 3rd Street that would run back and that it would have all these amenities, and these were the kinds of historical pieces that would be present in that. The architect told me he knew what was best for Pine Bluff and that we should not do that. We had a plan that we put together. In spite of being told you can't do it, we found the money through A&P and we put a plan together and presented it to you. That plan was presented, I believe, at the same time that the 6th Street Park plan was presented. You as a body, in your wisdom, said to us, you've got duplicating things between both of these projects. You need to sit down and figure out how to bring this together. We thought it was a good idea, and we showed up for the meetings because we wanted to do right by you and we wanted to connect the dots. We met 2 times. Every entity that was supposed to be downtown met with us. Every entity, that is, except for Go Forward. They never showed up. They never showed up because they've always had an aversion to this district, in part, I'm guessing, because they see it and they've seen it as competition, as something that would take away from their sheen and from their shine, as the young people would say. But it really became clear the day after the planning committee meeting that Mr. Lockett called. We had done the presentation. We had spent money on the economic development plan and had done the renderings, and the public was on fire that night and beyond. The next day, Mr. Watley, Dr. Watley came to the office of A&P. He was sent, he said, on a mission by Mr. May. He wanted to pick up the pictures. He wanted to pick up the pictures. Tommy May.
Okay.
Wanted to pick up the pictures for Tommy May. While he was at the office, in the presence of the director and one other person, he went on to vociferously. Yes, ma'am.
We've given you 4 minutes. I want to give you an additional 2 minutes.
Thank you. He objected vociferously, railed against this project. told them how he did not agree with this. But with the public consensus moving and the fire catching and the word catching, he went on before the public and said, you know what? I support this project and we support Delta Rhythm and Bayous and everything that comes with it. Now I can see the smile on his face in the presentation to the public, but I know the frown in his heart from the past 4 years of having dealt with this district. This is not the entity that you want to be over a project that is supposed to garner for you $18.2 million annually, 250 jobs, and $1.9 million annually in taxes. I could go on with other points. I'm not going to go beyond my time. I really do wish we had enough time to cover these points because it is a critical, it is a critical issue. But I would say to you, we have worked hard. This is the city's treasure. Do not stain your legacy, City Council, by voting for something that will rearrange this in a fashion that threatens it. I have a background in public policy. I have traveled throughout the country. The things that I have seen in the machinations of this have been disappointing. This wouldn't happen in Hooterville. It wouldn't happen in Bucktussle.
All right.
And it wouldn't happen in Hazard County.
Yes,
but it's
sir.
happening in Pine Bluff.
Yes.
And I ask you to do better.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham.
Man, let me ask him a question so I won't have to call him back during the discussion. Can you come and get this for me? This came out of my booklet and tell me that you all proposed this, so I won't have to call you back up during discussion. That came out of the city council booklet for $2 million, and I want to, did that come from the table?
No, this did not come from me or our office.
Okay, no, I won't have to call you back.
Sure.
At this time, we're going to have our invocation. And our invocation prayer will be led by Councilmember Lloyd Holcomb Jr., followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand?
Touch heaven, man. Serious business. It's God fixing to move in this city.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Special call meeting, special call business. Lord, we ask you first of all for forgiveness. As you forgive us daily of our sins and transgressions. We thank you for your compassion. We thank you for your love. We pray for this city. As we move in your wisdom, not in our own. We celebrate the progress that we have made. We celebrate the individuals that you have called here tonight, not for our own purpose, but for your purpose. Let us carefully and wisely make the right decisions. Go over each number, each detail. Because each decision that we make tonight will not only affect us, but affect each family, each young person, and each generation to come. Lord, just a few blocks down, there are young people who are playing their hearts out. Watch over them right now, Lord. Lord, I'm just simply asking you to just have your way. This is our prayer in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Mays.
Here.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Bruce Lockett.
Here.
Councilmember Ivan Whitfield.
Here,
Councilmember Joni Alexander.
Here.
Councilmember Glenn Brown Sr.
Here.
Councilmember Stephen Shaner.
Here.
8 present in person.
Being a special call meeting for the purpose of addressing the budget, we're going to move right into our proposed ordinances and resolutions. Councilmember Mays. I'm sorry, Holcomb. Mays, are you appointing? Okay, Councilmember Holcomb representing Councilmember Mays.
Okay, we have one agenda item, a resolution adopting the 2023 budget for the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and for related purposes.
And after considered study and review of the proposed budget submitted by the mayor, it is the finding and conclusion that the schedules, exhibits, and other supporting documents constituting said budget are as accurate as possible with respect to anticipated revenues and expenditures, and should be adopted as the city's budget for the calendar year 2023. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the mayor's budget, including scheduled changes as laid before this council and set forth in a bound volume provided each member of the body, is hereby approved and adopted and incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, that this budget shall be referred to the 2023 municipal budget for Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and each item of expenditure set out therein is hereby approved and adopted for the operation of the city and constitutes an appropriation of funds for the item and purpose specified. Section 3, this budget may be altered or revised by action of the council in the form of an ordinance, resolution, order, or budget adjustment, and the funds reallocated as dictated by the needs of the city. Section 4, the lines and provisions of this resolution and of the 2023 budget are declared severable, and the finding that a part thereof is invalid does not affect the remaining lines and provisions, which shall continue in full force and effect. This resolution, Section 6, this resolution takes effect immediately upon adoption.
Move for adoption.
second.
It has been moved and properly second that we adopt the budget, a resolution adopting the 2023 budget for the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and related purposes be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Whitfield.
Thank you, Mayor. And I know everybody on the council received I called it a blasting text earlier, and I have to comment that we did, because of the press of time, receive this budget today, and we're preparing to spend a lot of money. So I'm not going to even attempt to try to go through this budget line item by line item. I want to say to the council that tonight we heard from 3 or 4 speakers in reference to the Delta value, and I understand what they're saying, and I showed Mr. Cunningham a document that has been put in this budget book that we're getting ready to adopt, as if they have agreed to the $500,000 the first year and the 1.5 the second year.
Up to the mic.
When this hit the floor on November the 7th, and I asked the clerk to run everybody a copy of it in case we all forgot. When it hit the floor on November the 7th, everybody was a sponsor. During that time, I made a motion that we go ahead and approve the $2 million out of the 2017 sales tax, actually the 2023 portion of it. It got sidetracked some kind of way, but yet at the end of the day, Mayor Washington, you said on the record that we could do it, and the entire council voted for it 8-0. On November the 21st, because of some mishap, that the mayor did not sign it, and the motion I made to give the $2 million was left out on November the 21st, and I made sure that all council members have a copy of that before them as well. It was put back to make sure that Delta Rhythm and Blues value get what we wanted. In the midst of that, the phone was ringing, and Mayor, I just called it like I see it. I thought I was already at my last meeting. I called it the bankers at City Hall number 2 called and wanted their money back. That's the whole problem we have in here tonight. The big fellows at City Hall 2 wants their money back, and it's not their money. It's the taxpayers' dollars. And inadvertently, I have to admit that it does not say in this resolution to give them a line item, but in this budget, we've got $1.9 million for urban renewal. We got $911,000 for blight removal. We got $1,053,000 for downtown projects. But when we get to the Delta Rhythm and Bayou Culture District, we got $0 beside it. It's almost, no, it's not almost, let me tell you like it is. We are the elected official of this city. We voted 8-0. And we're gonna tell the public that an outside entity can send us a message that they don't want that money to be spent that way. And we spend many hours trying to figure out how to spend it another way. This is embarrassing. It really is. But we put up with it for some unknown reason. To me, they already, Go Forward Urban Renewal, already have $6 million carryover. In the budget, Urban Renewal got asked, we're gonna give them $1.9 million this year. Well, instead of giving them $1.9 million, let them use some of the $6 million in the carryover. This is simple. Watch this. Downtown District Project, where they hid the $6 million at in the downtown, it's got $1 million this year. Let them use the $1 million that they already got. There's a reason that they don't want to do it this way. This is a no-brainer. And it's ridiculous that City Hall 2 can send a message to the elected officials and we change our mind because they want it. Ladies and gentlemen, for us to be doing that tonight is an insult to the people that have elected us to do this job. I would rather be like Whitfield. I came here as a man and going home as a man. And feel good about it. Right. Instead of somebody saying, we gave him a loan. If you don't vote with me, I'm gonna call it in. We set up your business. If you don't vote this way, I'm gonna call it in. So now our hands are tied. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us, come hell or high water, to give Delta Rhythm and Bayou the $2 million that we said we was gonna give them before City Hall 2 spoke to us. And this, I'm coming to my end. This legislation said the budget can't be altered. So tonight, I made a mistake when I did the resolution. I failed to say, give them a line item. Now, before I make this motion, because I want to remove what is here, it's not going to change the budget. But I want to make sure that we put 2 million beside Delta, Rhythm, and Bayou, like we said. And you all can say, y'all change your mind. And the people would ask you why you change your mind all of a sudden. Because 8-0 said, let's do it. Now, my understanding of it, and Madam City Attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, because of the resolution, when Delta, Rhythm, and Bayou have a bill, they submit it per resolution to Larry Matthews, and he'll submit it to the finance department. Am I correct on that?
That's correct.
Okay, so if they buy a piece of land or hire an employee, whatever they do, they submit the bill to Larry Matthews per resolution.
Economic and
I said Larry Matthews, y'all excuse me. Yeah, economic and what you call it? Economic and community development. Yes. Y'all excuse me, he's been around so long and shucks, it's like his department. Okay, but that department would get the bill, and then he would submit it to the finance department. So I'm trying to clear it up at my last meeting. Y'all help me out. I made a mistake. I didn't ask for a line item. So tonight, all I want to do is say, let's make sure, I want to make a motion that we put a line item. If economic community development is going to oversee it, let's just go ahead and put a line item there so the financial director, wherever she at, would know exactly where the money is when they go get it. Ain't no sense of them saying, now wait a minute, are we going to take this from the urban renewal part? The go forward part? The down the street part? And they have to go back to City Hall too and get it. Let's not do that. Let's clear it up. I made a mistake. I omitted it. So I want to make a motion so that we will put a line item in economic development, is that right? Economic development. Right. So that Delta Bayou will have the 2 million, because this don't say anything about no money for Delta Bayou in this budget. And it would go to Larry Matthews per economic development, per policy, and then he'll submit it to the finance department. So that's my motion to give them a line item.
Second.
It has been moved in second that a line item be added to the budget. Is that something we can think of?
Well, the first thing we'd have to go through the finance to make that line item. I mean, she would have to ensure that those funds are available for that line item in that particular department. So
Repeat that again.
So that the finance director would have to articulate that, okay, we have this money and we can transfer that money to economic and community development. I guess that's what you're asking.
So we in a meeting right now, so where are we right now?
That's what the finance director would have to answer. I don't know where we are right now as far as the money.
There's some further discussion.
Madam City Attorney, I just need an opinion on, at this point in time, the resolution before us says that the budget can be adjusted and it can be altered with all types of manners and mechanisms, but I don't think that's the reason for the meeting today. And that's the question that I posed before you, that what we're dealing with is more complex than just creating a line item and moving 2 million over to community development, that it alters the whole nature of how, in some ways, we see the budget. But I mean, it can be done, but it's just not for this particular meeting, and I don't think the finance director and all involved can do it at this particular time.
So what's your question to me?
My question is the altering of the budget and the mechanisms which support the budget, is that on the table for today's vote? To my knowledge, what we're here to do is vote up or down a resolution adopting the 2023 budget.
The primary reason is to vote up or down, but it is concerning the budget. So there can be discussion and there can be modifications to it at this time.
Well, I'm saying, how does the finance director have the wherewithal at this
If she
particular
can't-
time?
The finance director will have to speak for herself. If she
Okay.
can't address it right now and she doesn't have the documents to support any comments that she may make and she needs some additional time, she would have to communicate that to the council.
May I have a question for the attorney?
Councilman Alexander.
So if the finance director cannot identify the funds, would it be better if we made the motion knowing that they have a carryover of at least 5.9 million to say that that line item is created and have 2 million of the carryover to go there? I don't think we need the finance director to affirm if that carryover will be there. We know that'll be there. It's in the budget when we appropriated that money that was not spent.
The problem with that is that you have to pass a balanced budget, so you can't, at that point, you'd be speculating as to what's available. So that would be the problem with that.
Well, we know that the 5/8 cents tax, their carryover don't go to the general fund like all of our other departments. And because we see it in our budget where we gave them, I think it was the beginning of last year or this year, where they had a balance of 6.1 million, and we gave it back to them under urban renewal, and they had only spent what was already allocated to them before that 6.1 million. So generally speaking, we know that they're gonna have that carryover in their budget. And just like Ways and Means, when they made a motion to some things that we want to do for the clerk's office, made it contingent on carryover, can we not do the same thing here?
I just don't think it's prudent to do it contingent upon the carryover. I think you have to wait until you see what that is. That's my opinion on that.
Madam Mayor, let me ask, I know what Alderwoman Alexander is saying. Let me ask the city attorney this. Can you turn to page 124 in your budget? I think this would be an easy way to do exactly what you're saying. When you get to 124, I want us to remember that what Alderwoman Alexander said is correct. There are $6 million that we know is coming over. But in this budget for this year, they were giving $1,963,000 to urban renewal. Even though our resolution says $2 million. Would it be proper, and I don't see how we can miss on this one, to take that 1.9 million? Because we know they got 6 million. Everybody on this council would agree, we know they got 6 million that's gonna roll over. Would it be proper, and we'll still have a balanced budget, to remove the 1.9 million from urban renewal? The delta value would be about $37,000 short of that $2 million. So we could remove the 1.9 million from urban renewal, which is the downtown stuff they're gonna do, and send that in a line item. But I take out urban renewal and put delta and value right there.
So you're saying you want to create a line item using the
2017 sales tax.
Correct. This 1.9 million
1.9.
that's listed here.
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, you'll be defunding the entire urban renewal agency?
No, they got $6 million left over. They got
They,
Let me answer my question first, if y'all would.
The answer is you can make it, you can make that modification to the budget.
Okay.
Well, I
so the
disagree with
clarity
you.
on the $6 million is, that's not $6 million that's just there left over. That money is committed to ongoing projects. And those projects have been started and the money has to be there to complete those projects.
Okay. And that's why I don't want to touch that $6 million. They can deal with that. But this, and let me say this to everybody. What we're going through tonight is unnecessary because in November, we passed the motion for the $2 million before budget time. Now, at the Ways and Means, y'all said it came afterwards.
Budget already was prepared.
No.
Budget was prepared.
Ways and Means, hold a minute.
The budget was prepared.
Hold on.
I really have a problem with this, man.
I'll get about your problem. You got a lot of problems. But like I say, but I got the flow right now. I'm just saying, I presented the $2 million, no, Alderman Lockett and this whole entire council voted to do this project. And we put $2 million on there. before we had one budget meeting, it was already passed. The record reflects. You cannot prove me wrong. That's what happened.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
But, so Mayor, so we won't have to be here all night, because Dallas Cowboys playing. I want to clear up my motion, if I can, to take the 1.963 from urban renewal and send it to, make a line item for Delta, Rhythm, and Bayou. And we can, the incoming council can find $37,000 more. I just think that's the way I want to do it, Mayor. That's my motion. Can I get a second on that?
You did get a second on that.
That's where the money would come from.
So, let me be in order. We did make a motion to do a line item. And during this discussion of the line item, we decided that with that line item to take the 1.9 million from urban renewal and place that in the Delta and Rhythm and Blues. Of course, knowing that we actually allocated 2 million, but with that it's only 37,000. That's different from the 2 million that we allocated. So what Councilman Whitfield is saying, along with myself, is this will balance the budget without having to remove anything for the rest of the year. According to the way we have it set, the budget will be balanced to the penny. We won't have to worry. Now, that was saying that. Let me just say this. When we passed it, there was no dissension. I don't even remember anybody having a serious discussion. But on the next meeting, I think that was when we heard the mayor was saying that, oh, we can find some more money somewhere else, April or somewhere else, and we don't bother that. And my response to that was, if you can find some more money other than 2 million that we 80 appropriate or passed, then take that money and put it where you want to put it with that private group. Don't interfere with the 2 million that this city council passed with a unanimous 8-0 vote. So it's a matter of the mayor wanting to cooperate. I don't want to drag the finance director in, but it's a matter of the mayor want to, at least cooperate and follow suit with her city council. Because that's basically all we're trying to do. We're not trying to be stubborn, not trying to be not trying to be the mayor. City council spoke with 8-0. And now we're asking that to take place. And there are people sitting in the audience who want that to take place. And it's just a matter of the mayor not wanting to be selfish or not wanting to be fair to the people. And it's on her. The finance director can do what she has to do, but we outlined where the money could come from. Of course, she did tell us that next meeting that she could find some money to get it written move. And I said, okay, fine, find it and give it to what we're gonna take out of the 5/8 sales tax money. So she can't say that it's gonna throw her off, because if we remove the urban renewal 1.9 right now, she says she could find some more money later for Delta and Rhythm and Blues. So let's do this. If you can find some more, put it over there where we just moved at. That's where I see that. And I wish that my fellow city council members could see that. All we want to do is balance the budget, and she helped us to do that. Thanks to Alderman Whitfield, he discovered, or he put it within his thought, that we could remove that 1.9, which we're sorry that you'll be 37,000 short. But we're gonna find that during the rest of the year, but that's close to 2 million. If that's all it takes to be close to 2 million, I'll take that. So, and then that means that Ms. Roberts, along with the mayor, and I get so tired of hearing the mayor's budget, but this is the mayor's budget. So we just want to balance the mayor's budget tonight, so we can just kill our time and just put it there. We still want, we won't move a penny. So not one little red penny will be moved.
Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Lockett and then Alexander.
Madam Mayor, if I could, I'd like to ask the finance director that if we take 1.9 from urban renewal, what would that do to the funding for that agency, and where would they draw their income from for the short and the long term?
So if you go to page 124, that 1.9 consists of blight removal, which is 911,000, and then 1,052,000 is designated for downtown district projects. So of course, that would eliminate the funding for those items. Did I answer?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
I have a question for the finance director as well. You know, I've always had questions about this loan payment. And I'm looking in this book, and it says a loan reserve has been created in order to remit the final payment in 2023 without a heavy impact on 2023.
What page are you looking?
This is page 126 at the bottom.
Okay.
Could you explain this chart to me? And also, I may be mistaken, but City Attorney Hans Scott, the word remit, what does that mean?
Pay,
Huh?
to pay the loan, pay off the loan.
Yeah, so, and to remit the final payment, okay. Could you
Yeah.
explain that chart to me?
So this is the breakdown of when the aquatic center was decided. You all passed it to build the aquatic center. And so this is the payment schedule for that. So $1 million was paid 2020. And then 2021, a total of 1.1 million. 2022, 1.1 again. And then the final, which would be 2023, it would be 3 million. So it was like it was a balloon note, I guess. That was before I became the finance director. But that would be a balloon note. But of course, in 2022, there were multiple payments made, which reduced that balloon note, which if we had have waited, we would have had to pay $3 million in 2023 for that final payment. But because of the way the payments were made, we're only having to pay the 1.9.
And that's what I'm not understanding, because 1.9 is nowhere on this chart, and I'm not understanding the difference between their payment for loan reserve versus the debt service expense.
Well, that's just the source. So, yeah, that's the way that it was laid out in our general ledger, as far as the source. So those are the two sources that the payment comes from. But of course, this was the payment at the beginning. But of course, I'll have to give you a schedule that shows the payments that's been made. So you wouldn't see the 1.9 because this was the initial payment schedule.
So why can't we stick with the initial payment schedule if it'll still be paid in full? And you probably can't answer that question because we might need someone to go forward here, but.
No, we're sticking with the payment. That 1.9 is the payment for 2023.
I guess what I'm asking is, why is that not shown here on this schedule?
Because when this schedule was done, this was the schedule at the onset of the loan. So it has not been updated, I would say that.
So is this the proper documentation that we should have in our budget as far as a narrative for go forward?
It's as accurate as I'm aware of. Now, as far as the breakdown of the payment, if you want that, I can provide that to you. But the narrative is provided by Go Forward. So I didn't include that in there, but that's what that schedule is. But I do have the schedule as far as the payments.
With the 1.9?
That will show the balance that is due in 2023.
I still don't understand the schedule, but Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Other
you.
questions?
Thank you, Mayor.
You have a question for the finance director?
Oh, no, she can listen. And if she feel like she wanna come back, she can come back, because what I'm gonna say it, it's not gonna matter one way or the other. Mayor, we're using a term, what is that thing? Is it forward go, backward, what is that? Go forward. I call it the 5/8 cent sales tax. We are allowing that 3-4 letter initials to affect the production of our city council. And they should never have that much authority and power. And I'm gonna lay that on the mayor because she's allowing it to happen. There's 8 members sitting at this table, along with also the mayor and the city clerk and the city attorney. But the more powered body comes from the city council. I didn't want to leave out an elected official because Greg Dustin's back there too. But the 8 that sit here governs the tax dollars. It governs the movement of tax dollars and projects. And we have allowed a private group that have not raised any money that we know of. If they have, they never brought it to the city council to show us. We've allowed them to have more power than our city itself. And I've said over the years and over time that I've asked Watley to show me a replica of what he's doing. I've asked the mayor to tell me a mayor that would give a tax to a private group. There has not been a city or a county that have given a whole entire tax that would disrupt the whole elected body in my whole life, and any time that I can remember in the city. Show me the city that has done that. Show me a county that has done that. Then you don't even have a replica of what you want to do. But let's be calm about that. But this city council sitting here on November 7th, I looked at my calendar a second ago to make sure that Councilman Whitfield did the right date, so I don't want to be saying it if it was the wrong date. November 7th, 8-0. We should not be having a problem here tonight. We should not be having a problem. The audience spoke, and they said that one of our speakers said, we're allowing somebody else to do our work. We are the most important decision makers for the taxes. We are actually, and I'm going to tell you, this is for real. If we allow them to continue to do what they're doing, every time that we buy white tissue paper in the city of Pine Bluff, we're going to have to ask this 4-letter group that you're talking about. And it's not making sense to me. It's not. We just want to do away with city council if this is going to take place. And anybody listening knows exactly what I'm saying. It is our duties. Look it up. You know, and I want to say this. You have, some people get the wrong concept about the job of a city council. We don't bring jobs. We don't bring plants. We don't bring grocery stores and shopping places, but we can be concerned about it. But one of the main things we do is we take care of taxes. We deal with streets. We deal with city employees, trash and garbage. But the most important thing that we do is the tax. That's the most important thing that we deal with is the tax dollars. And we have allowed a private group to come into our city that has no experience in what they're doing, have no replica of what they're doing, and we sit at the table now trying to pass budget to satisfy them. Help me. It doesn't make sense. All that are guilty say I'm guilty. But I'm not guilty of allowing a private group
City council paid for it. Period.
to do that. And let me say that again.
Excuse me, Mr. Muhammad.
Let me say that again. Because I was intending to say that initially, and I didn't. I have never taken it for granted that the people elected me. I have never made a selfish decision, not ever. Take me to hell if you want to. I have never made a selfish decision for this city. Every decision that I have made was for this city to progress. Nothing to take away, nothing. If I disapprove of something, it was in my heart because I feel like it wasn't best for this city. I was elected by those people with 2 or 3 different bodies at 2 or 3 different times, and they know that my heart is in the city and county. So what I say tonight, it's about the city. It's about the things that we need to do to make our city better. So all the guilty say yeah. But I know what I want for this city. And I'm gonna go to my grave or wherever I'm going with the thought that Glenn Brown Sr. is gonna make the right and the best decision for this city, regardless of what a radio station says or anybody else. Please tell the rest of them to not understand. Glenn has not been bought. Thank you all very much.
I want to be reasonable. I asked for the 1.9 to come from urban renewal. If it would help the financial director or in this body, our elected official, I'm okay with the 1.9 coming from the early payoff payment. You know, I don't know if that would relieve the pressure or not. It would still be a balanced budget, and if it would help mayor, I would include that in there that you all could choose which way you want it to come. Because you may not be comfortable with the urban renewal being wiped out for this year, but you can take the 1.9 from the early payout, and Alderwoman Alexander has always brought that to the table, had a problem with the payout, and we don't see it on here like it should be. So I'm trying to be reasonable, but I won't, this is my last meeting, I want to be sure, we've already put on the record that they will, Delta Value will in fact have their bills going to economic development, and then it'll go to the finance department. We got that cleared, so we don't have to argue about that. The only discussion is, let's get them a line item. No matter, to me, no matter where you put it at, because the resolution say they get get $2 million. So I'm just trying to be reasonable. I'm not trying to be a hardball and say, take it from here and that's it. I mean, I didn't think about the other places we could take it from. They got it, but on this, in our document we get ready to approve, it does not say $2 million. So I just need us to make sure before the night's end, we make sure they got $2 million in this budget.
You have a motion already on the floor
Yes.
to amend the proposed budget to designate the $1.9 million in the urban renewal account, line item 2, Delta Rhythm and Bayous.
Okay.
So you already have that motion on the floor, unless you're going to withdraw that motion.
No.
And actually, was there somebody else about to speak? I have some comments that I'm going to make, but I'll let you all finish, and then I want us to
I'll be
vote,
brief.
because we're going to wrap this up. We're not going to stay here all night debating over these issues.
No, I mean, I just appeal to everybody. This is not what I planned. What I'm saying is, I've worked with Mr. Cunningham for the last 6 years trying to bring this to the table. This is not what I had envisioned. This is not it. What I'm appealing to everybody, a lot of what's going on is a lot of mistrust. Yeah. Only thing that I got to tell everybody that can hear my voice, this council is committed to this project. Please let us show you that we can do it. We will not renege on this now. I'm telling you, this is what we say we will do. And I'm saying is that there has nothing, every proposal that Mr. Cunningham has brought to this table has been voted 8-0. Everything that he has brought, from naming Bobby Rush's Way, to matching grants, to creating the Delta Rhythm and Bayous District, to create the Natural Trails Task Force, every proposal that he's brought forth before this council has been agreed upon by all 8 of us. We have never had a split decision. I'm just saying, have faith that we can do this, because if we do what is on the table to be done, it turns the budget upside down and it creates a whole bunch of unequalness that a budget director, a mayor, and all involved in putting the budget should not be going through. I just appeal to everybody, if we can keep things where they are, this council will honor its pledge to support the Death of Rhythm and Values projects with the $2 million that we have set forth.
Mayor, that sounds good, but this is a business. And you keep saying this council, you're not gonna have this council next year. And I'm not saying what is or isn't gonna happen. I'm not even saying that I don't trust you to keep your word. But when it comes to our jobs and our authority, it is in the legislation. And that's how we have to make our decisions, by a vote, not by good conscience or faith in one another or different relationships we have with each other. And I honestly don't have that confidence in this body. And I want to state for the record, I've been going through these numbers for this loan payment every which way, and they do not make sense at all, according to the 1.9 million we give them. They may have a little more over $500,000. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Mayor, I have, if I may, I have a issue, but I don't want to divert from what is present that's being discussed at this point in time. But certainly it's budget related, and it relates directly to the clerks, in which has been recommended by both administration and Ways and Means Committee that doesn't appear. So I don't know the proper time to bring that forth before you all conclude the discussion that's at hand.
I didn't really understand what you said.
There's an amended motion on the floor right now, so at this point, it would not be appropriate. So unless Councilman Whitfield is going to withdraw his motion, and there's also, the first was a motion to adopt and a second, so at this particular point, there's a motion to amend that needs to be addressed.
Well, City Attorney, I totally agree with you, but however, before that is done and a final vote is taken, I need to address this body.
But it would be after the motion to amend.
Okay, in terms of that motion to amend, I believe the motion to amend is going to be, Councilmember Whitfield, if I heard you correctly, to amend the budget, that $1.9 million come from the go forward urban renewal budget. When we told you that we were going to find the money for the $2 million, we didn't say that we would put it in a line item for urban renewal over in economic development. We just said that we were committed to this project, committed to supporting this project with $2 million. It was never stated how or where the money would come from. But then we got with Mr. Matthews and we looked at how we could make that happen over a period of time, and looking at what could be spent in 2022, what could be spent in 2023 with what would be done. I even called Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, I believe I did have a conversation with you in this regard. Do you recall? Yes, I talked to you about this, and when I spoke with you, Mr. Cunningham, you seem to have been in favor of it. No. So the proposal, we won't argue about that. Let me finish and then I'll let you speak. But the proposal was that we would make sure that the $2 million was put into the Delta Rhythm and Values project. We talked to Mr. Matthews, who was going to supervise or have oversight of this project, to see how much of that money could be spent in 2023. And he said approximately $500,000 with the time that we had and with the acquisition of and the different processes that we would have to go through. And then the rest of that money would be needed the second year, which would be 2024. So the money that we're speaking of, all of it would come from the 2017 sales tax. That first portion of that money, which would be about $500,000, is coming from the 2023 urban renewal budget. So it's actually coming from urban renewal already. And so Mr. Matthews was going to have oversight of the money. We've executed many projects in the past, the Aquatic Center being one, and we've never moved the money. We let it stay in the 2017 sales tax fund, And then the invoices are submitted and the money is paid until the project is seen through from start to finish. And that's what we were going to do for this project as well. We agreed that, this is the document that you gave Mr. Cunningham. This is the document that was created, that was shared, and that would be the process that we would use, or the budget that we would use to move forward with the $2 million toward the project. So the first year would be the $500,000, and then the next year would be the 1.5 million, which would complete the $2 million. And I think we have every intent in the world to fulfill this commitment. We have no intention of not doing this. So Mr. Matthews was asked if it would be feasible to create a line item in economic development for this money. Well, yes, it can be done, but it's not the best way to do it. We talked about it being problematic, yes it would, but it's not something that's ever been done. And we've supervised projects from other accounts in the past. It's never been done any other way than letting the money stay where it is, submit the invoices as they come in to Mr. Matthews, and he would pay them from, he submits them to finance, and they would be paid from the 2017 sales tax. And that was the proposal that we think will work. We see nothing wrong with this. In a course of time, Mr. Cunningham, my question to you is, we've committed to the $2 million. What is the total amount of your overall project?
The
$2
total
million
amount,
is about what percent of what you would need?
it's about 60 to 70%. We'll have to raise about another $1 million, a little bit more than that.
And we're committed to even work with Mr. Cunningham on that effort. Because there's some grants, I told you about the Park and Recreation grant that we would like to help you with to get the outdoor, I think it was a fitness center that was part of.
Yes.
And so we plan to work with that and any other grants and any other dollars that we can submit or commit to this project. We're in full support of the project, 100%. We're in full support of wanting to see this happen. There was a art walk, blues walk or something that was part of Go Forward. And we decided to not put money into that portion and put the money into Mr. Cunningham's project. And we have every intent to fulfill this commitment.
Mayor.
Yes, I thought I saw Brown Senior.
Will
you let her go first?
I'll yield to me.
I think the thing that they're trying to say, and they're trying to be politically correct, is they don't want to go forward to urban renewal over their money. So that's the first thing. It needs to be under a line item that they're able to go through Mr. Matthews to do their project. The second thing is we keep talking about how they're not going to be able to spend all that money in 1 year. Go Forward has never been able to spend all their money in 1 year. That's why they have a carryover of over $6 million. So that's not a fair argument. And then you keep saying we, but if we is not the majority of this body, it doesn't matter what we think. It's about what this body votes on, and that's what we have to go with. We've seen your plan, but clearly the we that matters doesn't like the plan. So that's why we're here having this discussion, but they don't want it under urban renewal and Go Forward. That's what he has been constantly trying to say. And no, they're not going to be able to spend the money within that year, but if they have carryover, the same way we've been giving Go Forward, they're carryover every year and they have not been completing projects and we still have confidence in them, I feel like that we should give Mr. Cunningham and his project that same type of trust.
I vote, thank you. I vote for Young Alexander to return to the city council. At any rate, that's exactly what I was going to say. The rhythm and blues do not want to be under the Go Forward or the urban renewal. They want to have their own presence. That's what we're saying, Mayor, to respect this city and the city council. Stop putting Go Forward first. Oh Lord, I said that word. Putting them over the city council.
Mr. Cunningham has a project. He shouldn't have to worry about being under urban renewal, which is whatever, with this private group. My main thing is, Mayor, respect the city and the city council. We don't need to argue no more. Let's do the line item for the Delta Rhythm and Blues Festival Association. And of course, we have dangled and played around with this private group for over 4 or 5 years. And it's time now for let somebody else, as Councilmember Alexander said, if they plan to have a carryover, then so be it. But this other private group has had a carryover. They did not spend all the money, but you know, sometimes if you're getting investors, they want to know that you have your share of the money. If they know that their money is guaranteed to be there, then they can raise, he just said he got to raise another million or so, maybe two, I don't know, but when the money is there and it's secured and they know it's going, they say, okay, fine, they already started, they got $2 million. And that's what we want to put that insurance with their investors or the people that's going to loan the money or donate money, whatever their endeavors are, because he got the paperwork. But most importantly, we don't want the city council to be second to this private group. It is totally, let me say this for real. We were elected, it's 40,000 people in the city of Pine Bluff, over. So if you divide four wards into that, it'll give you 10,000 people. Let's just go on a small note saying at least 35 to 4,000 of those are voters. So all of us sitting here were elected by a possibility of those people. The go forward was not, oh no, that private group was not elected by that many people. Probably 4 to 5 to maybe 10 was elected to serve. So we are allowing people to go into a private room, please write this, Ray, go into a private room and decide what happens to tax dollars that's supposed to be our job, public money, to a private group to do what they like to do. Now this is the last key point. This is why the municipal government made it that city council, as well as quorum court in the county, be in charge of dealing with the taxes. I think I made this example once, and I'll make it again. The money should be channeled through city council to have that effect that we know where it's going. If we give money to this private group, they could hire a subgroup that don't do what they say they're going to do with the money, but instead go buy some arms to send them over to a country that's against the United States.
Point of order,
Council.
Okay.
I'd like to make a statement real quick. Now, it would have, the money has to be in a city department. So if it stays within urban renewal, but it is designated for Delta Rhythm and Bayous, or it can be placed in economic and community development, designated for Delta Rhythm and Bayous, but it just can't be given to them directly. I don't know. Everybody be clear on that part.
We understand that.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, we understand that, but I was just trying to make an example. When you don't know where the money trail is going, when you contract it out to somebody else, they're not reliable to city council because they didn't go to city council. They're just going to do it because this group trusted them that they would do that. So if the money is channeled through city council the proper way and not through a private group, we don't have that problem that money is going to be spent where it's supposed to be spent at. And so that's why, yes, who said something? Okay, so that's what I feel about.
Just wrap it up so we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
That's what I feel about, that all the money should be channeled. It should be channeled through city council first and not through somebody else. We were elected by those people, not this private group. They elect who they want to be chairman of this program, who they want to do this with, and what project they want to do. In fact, every project they have ought to come through, it should come through here. If we want to partner with them, if they have collected $2 million and say, y'all match us, we match the $2 million. If they have collected $3 million and say, give us $1 million, if the city council so desires, they will match that $1 million. That's where it should be. We have given too much control to a private group, and it won't be long when we won't have any control over them at all. We don't stop now. Thank you.
Yes, Senior Alderman Stephen Mays. Thank y'all. I've been listening.
good conversation, should have been there all the time. I remember when Go Forward was trying to come in. I told you all what they was trying to do. I told you all. You always laughing at me all the time. I see some of y'all be sniggering all the time. And now you got Go Forward trying to run the city. And all y'all scared of them guys, no baits. You tell them I said it. Tell them I said it. I'm not afraid of them. I'm just sitting there arguing. They got to deal with me. Y'all sitting around here arguing. Go forward, go forward. Really? And I told y'all what they were trying to do. How many years they've been trying to take over the city now? How many y'all scared of them? And y'all elected. I don't pay them no attention. Honestly. I can care less about Go Forward. I hope to dismantle. Y'all need to wake up and grow up. Y'all sitting up here letting Go Forward. Really? Really? Come on now. Y'all like little kids. You let them come in and take their spots. Simmons Bank. Really? I told y'all that. Tell them I said it too. I don't care.
Thank you.
And I'm talking now. I think I voted on one thing that they had. How long they been in existence now? And what have they done? Everything is right there with them. Y'all keep talking about money. They get, that's on paper y'all talking about. They got the money. Really, they got the green. No, they got the money. This is what y'all talking about right here, this typed up paper.
Maintain our focus on.
No, the focus is on it. Go forward, it's forward, y'all. And I told y'all at first. You always think May's gonna be talking about. Let me tell y'all something. I know a lot more than what y'all think. I listened very well. See, when they were doing all the Go Forward, I got quiet. I was watching everything. Y'all let them slip right in. On y'all, not on me. I got to be the senior alderman. Did you see it? You didn't see that, did you? I'm anointed to come about that stuff. Y'all have to learn how to listen. Now Simmons Bank think they running the city, and they run a lot of you all.
Mays, I done told you.
Well, not Joni, no, let me finish. Let me finish.
No, you need to.
Let me finish.
Leave us out of
Let me finish.
No,
they got half the council joining them. Not these here.
No, they don't have half of
not
the
you,
council.
but let me finish.
No.
Let me finish.
No.
Simmons Bank is in control of a lot of these city council.
That's not fair to say, and that's why we
I
can
said
never work
city
together.
council men.
But that's why we can never work together when statements like that are said. How do you think
they don't control me. And they do a lot of things behind the scenes that y'all don't see. And they came to me when the tax came up, they wanted me to vote for the tax. I met with Tommy May, and I told him no. And I sat down before I walked out of his office, I told him I wasn't going to the board to go forward. And he got upset with me, they've been upset with me ever since. And I don't care. I met with Tommy May, and you can ask him. Ask him.
Councilman Mays.
Let me finish because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And they Simmons Bank met with all the city council members.
Let's wrap it up quick.
No, and I told him no, and he got mad at me and tried to put me out of his office, but I said, wait, let me finish talking. In his wheelchair, rolling me out of his office. You know, I'm not afraid of them. I'm the senior alderman. How did I get here? Y'all ever thought about that? It's the anointing.
This is how we lose people without.
No, you talk, all y'all talk. I'm just telling the people, y'all listen. Simmons Bank trying to take over and control the city council.
Let's go.
And I'm done. And they didn't get me, and they will not get me. I represent the north side, the north, 4th Ward. I'm not bowing down and go for it. Tell them I said it.
Thank you.
Call for the vote, man.
Thank you, sir. Now, I think the vote is on the amendment to create the line item.
Correct. It's just under urban renewal, it would just be,
Urban renewal.
designated Delta Ribbon Advisory.
Say that again one more time now.
You want to move, okay, your motion is to amend the proposed budget to designate that 1.9 million to Delta Rhythm Advisory. It's still under urban renewal.
Okay. I thought the resolution says under community development. In the resolution it says
So it just says made available to them, so if you want to do something different, I'm just telling you what your motion was.
Okay.
Okay, so that motion is still going to be under urban renewal.
It'll still, the money will still be under the, I guess, the urban renewal umbrella, but all of the, instead of it being parceled out with light removal and the projects, it will all be designated to Delta Rhythm and Vibrance Cultural District.
So can I amend that, my amendment, or we have to vote on that?
Withdraw it and make another motion. Withdraw your motion and make another one.
Okay. You have to withdraw your second. Mayor, I want to withdraw that motion,
I withdraw the second.
and I would like to make a new motion. Okay. I move that this council vote to place a line item in economic development
To amend the proposed budget.
to amend the proposed budget, I'm sorry, to amend the proposed budget to remove the 1.9 million from the urban renewal and place it under economic development with a line item of Delta Rhythm and Value. That's my motion.
Can you get 5, 6
Second.
votes? Or can you get the votes?
Second.
Some of them been bought already.
Let's vote.
Man, you gonna make people
I don't,
change
it
their
don't
mind.
matter.
You said it still remains under urban renewal, so he said you
We shouldn't have to discuss about go forward. Really?
His first motion. So now he's making a new motion.
The city council about go forward.
Come on, man.
All right, I'm writing that down. So we remove the 1.9 from urban renewal and place
To economic development, where you want to go. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And allocate to economic and community.
Yeah.
And with that being
It
said,
has been
Mayor, with that being said, we did talk to Larry Mentor the other day we met, and he said it could go both ways. So he would be satisfied with both ways, either way.
Let's call for the vote, man.
He said it could go both ways, but he said it could become problematic and it would be easier if it stayed where it was. He did say that, but it's never been done that way. Okay, we have an amendment. It has been moved and properly seconded that we amend the proposed budget to remove the 1.9 million from urban renewal, to move to economic and community development to be allocated for the Delta Rhythm and Virus project on the floor. I think we've had enough discussion, so let's vote. All those in favor of this? I'm sorry?
Voice vote.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Mays,
Now, what are we voting on? Hold on for a second.
We voted on a proposed amendment that was made on the floor just now. That we remove the 1.9 million from urban renewal to be allocated to economic and community development to be allocated for the Delta Rhythm and Volumes project.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.,
No.
Councilmember Brown Jr.,
No.
Councilmember Lockett,
No.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
No.
It fails for a lack of majority, 4-4. Okay. Moving forward. Voting for the budget as is.
Before we go to the budget as is, I do have a concern to address to this body and request. If I can get each member to turn in their budget books to page 53. It's going to be tab 12, page 53. We'll look at line item 4104, technology services. On November the 9th, the administration committee recommended to forward to Ways and Means a sum of $15,000 on November the 16th, the Ways and Means Committee voted to move $15,000 to the full body. And as you see, 4104 in 2021, the actual was $8,344.55. And as you see for 2023, it's zero recommended. And speaking with our, may I finish? And speaking with our service, technology, contractual service, it is projected that their cost is going annually for 2023 would be approximately $10,000 to $12,000. I'm asking this body to honor its recommendation of the $15,000, and verification is by recording both administration committee and both Ways and Means. And I'm asking that you would, this body will place that $15,000 in its appropriate place as of this day.
Madam City Clerk, was that one of the recommendations that we said will be continued upon carryover? It is. That will be considered when we do the carryover budget, so that will be put in then. But right now, we have a balanced budget, and so adding anything now will make the budget unbalanced. So when carryover funds are available, then that will be put in.
So she has a list of items that will be considered a carryover. Do you have that on that list?
I do have that, yes. That is one of the items.
And if we let it-
Certainly let the record reflect that those carryover funds contingency does not appear in this budget.
And we always make those carryover adjustments after the carryover comes in February, at the end of February, once we see what that is. And there are a list of things that will go into the budget, provided the money is. And I think hers was going to get given first priority because she has said that that's used for the recordings. And so that would be first. Now we can't, if we change it now, we won't have a balanced budget, so.
Yeah, I hate that too, Mayor, because I'm gonna make a motion to do something, but I don't wanna unbalance the budget. But do she have any money that she's turning back in from her budget for 2023?
I can't answer that now.
You don't know?
I can answer, there's a small portion, but it would not even mirror $1,000.
Oh, okay.
If there are no other questions or concerns, we're voting on the presented proposed budget.
But yes, there is something I would like to say.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
So thank you very much. You know, I know that according to law, that each body has to propose a budget and pass it. But I do also know that we spend time in budget meetings, and that I can think of, nothing changed. So I wonder why. It's our duty to be there and to discuss the budget. So I wonder why we go. It's really something that every year I hear the word, the mayor's budget. I like Steve Miller, but he could say that better. The mayor's budget, he could really say that, but I think the mayor's budget should have been done before. I think it should have got with all the departments, mainly the elected officials, and decided that what should be put in a balance to a budget. But when you balance the budget on your own before you do anything else, then when we have the budget hearing meeting, nothing changes, and that says to me a lot. It says to me that we rule with an iron fist, or it says that you're not kind enough to listen to other people's and other departments' needs and wants. So you make it very hard and not so pleasing for the city council members or what have you to want to perform at those meetings, to want to be there, to want to be present. Because there's no change, and there's what, more or less, we have the same old vote, same old thing over and over and over. And that's not how life goes. I think it changes every day, but we're sitting here, and to me, it's not any changes have taken place other than the change that the mayor wants the finance director to do. Let me tell y'all something. When the mayor was running for office, this is what she said to me at UAPB. When Hillary Clinton was running for governor, she said, respect goes both ways. She has not respected this city council. Anytime you have 4 members of your city council that's going one way, that's 50%. You gotta make some kind of concession consideration. Because she couldn't win without this 50% that we are. So she had to have those 50% that voted for us. We have not had a change. Constantly, every meeting that we have, anything that comes up with the private group, the mayor either don't have to vote on it, or she vote to make sure that the resolution or the proposal or the what have you doesn't pass. And that's not getting along. That's not having a city that gets along. When you think about that, you want all of us sitting here to be 8-0, okay, let's do that. But there should be some concessions among each other and the mayor. The mayor, and I'm telling you, the year she won,
Councilmember Brown, in all respect,
no.
we need to vote on the budget.
We understand it. This is all about the budget. This is all about the budget, Mayor. Respect, you did say respect go both ways. Let's stay there. Let's stay right there. We come to these budget hearings, or these budget meetings, or committees. Well, I think we got there at 9 o'clock one day, we stayed till about 3:30. And some more prolonged meetings, but I'm just saying that. Nothing changed. So why did we go? If you're going to be respectful to the city council, then let it be respect. It's a slap in the face to us to think that a private group can come in here and get what they want, and the city council can just plea all they want and plea, and nothing happens. If we all want the city to grow, let's let it grow. Let's work together to let it grow. But it's not working together when one thing is one-sided. It's not working together, and I can guarantee that. And the mayor got a perfect record to that. Even when we thought everything was going as smooth as it could get 8-0 vote, the mayor found a way to mess it up. She found a way. She allowed somebody to tell her to do it differently. So is this about the mayor? Well, city council didn't get the change, so the mayor got it. So that means it is about the mayor. It's about the mayor because of some of the simple little things about the money. Councilman Whitfield made some good suggestions, didn't hurt anybody. Councilman Alexander made some good suggestions, didn't hurt anybody. But what's happening? It's not taking place. So we run under a selfish government and being controlled by a private entity. So at this point, I don't know where we stand to work together. I don't know where we stand to work together. I've always did everything I could, made all my decisions, but it's to be a part of the city council in the proper way and to do what's best for this city. But
and we like it that you do what's best for the city.
If you being ruled by iron fist, and we can't do anything, all we can do is just sit and be like a duck in the pond and no friends. So, hey.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. Let's vote. We're going to do a roll call vote, voting on the budget, for or against.
Councilmember Mays. Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield.
It don't smell good, but
Councilmember John Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Glenn Brown Senior.
I believe in this city. Aye.
Councilmember Stephen Shaner. 8-0.
Okay, the budget passes 8-8.
Motion to adjourn.
8-0.
You want to be there.